Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like I look like 10 years older this morning. Pretty sure y'all see it too. Actually, I just got out of bed. I wasn't asleep. I wasn't depressed. None of that. I was just honestly in bed, waiting for the Lord more or less tell me it's time to get up and make my walk. I'm telling y'all, I'm running on fumes, 100% on fumes. I got up this morning so dang frustrated with my situation in regards to trying to get groceries. I told y'all about that, made a little 50-minute therapy session. After the therapy session, I ordered my groceries. They were allowed to go through whatever the problem was with the app. Got sorted out over the course of that hour or so they were able to detect the funds. But unfortunately, I ended up showering too long, and he came here with my groceries, turned around and left. Now normally it's not a big deal, but it is, because what it did was it took the money that I spent on the food, moved that into a situation where now they can take the money and not refund it for another 10 days. So whatever that was at $80 on the EBT, it's still gonna be considered gone without me having any groceries. And I had 2 more free deliveries left, which would probably cut away almost $18, because obviously, if you guys have been following Amazon, basically every time I have my groceries brought to me, I have to spend 20 of my own dollars just to have it delivered. So that was something that Instacart is kind of taking care of, and because of what happened there, they took away one of my free deliveries. So it's like that whole situation had thrown me all the way off, had me thinking thoughts that were no good. And I went to prayer, and the Lord told me to go lay down. He said, your rest is blessed, lay down. And I was like, God, I know this is idle. This doesn't make any sense. He said, I ain't gonna have you laying there all day. You just need to lay down. Your legs are sore, and your mind has been on heavy alert. You've been working on doing all these things I've asked you to do, and now you got to continue doing that. And the only thing I'm asking you to do is lay down and rest for a minute and talk to me, get some things out. And I confessed my frustrations with the situation. Told myself that I was gonna, just do what necessary to fix my situation or whatever. And found myself feeling a little better. And then just about, say, 5 minutes ago, he said, okay. The words came to me like I'm speaking to you. It said, the Lord's ready for you to go on your walk now. And I was hesitant. I'm like, what are we doing? That was exactly my attitude. Like, what are we doing? And he was like, it's time to go. He was like, watch what the Lord does for you. In the coming hours, I'm going to bring you something that's going to help your situation. I'm like, okay. I feel like I'm telling myself these things, not necessarily God saying them, but it's just like, if it's comforting words, I'll take it. But it was not any confusion at all attached to this. Any confusion attached to this. And in my situation, in my mind, I was like, I'm kind of hungry. I feel like my mouth is hungry, but my stomach won't really eat, because I tried to go ahead and eat some oatmeal this morning like I always do, and my body didn't want it. I look in the fridge, and of course I got my rice still. I got plenty of rice, but the stuff that I have to eat, I don't want that. So the Lord was like, let's just go. Let's just walk outside, man. Let's just go. Maybe we get you something to eat. And I'm like, Father, I need the money, blah, 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 blah. He's like, look. Now, I'm telling you what to do. You can tell me what your problems are, but you've already told everybody the truth about how that works. The different variables about different things, you were listening to yourself say it. So why would you now go against that with a little bit of adversity? I mean, clearly the enemy's attacking you. Clearly you've done my will. Clearly you've done everything I told you to do in regards to this. So you're going to stop now when I tell you to lay down and rest? What you telling God? That you want to stress a little more? And then he helped me understand what I would have did if I would have got up and did what my head told me to do, which was look for certain, call different people, try to find something. And he told me, he was like, look, all that's going to do is frustrate you into wasting the next 8 days. That's exactly what he told me. He said, what your mind is telling you to do, what you think is productive, all that's going to do is mess with your head and have you messed up for the next 8 days. You're not going to want to do nothing that is going to take to welcome those blessings if you don't follow me on everything I'm telling you to do. Everything. laying down, getting up, and win. And he helped me understand in that moment, like, that is why you have been living a life that you haven't enjoyed. Because every time I tell you to move, you either delay or tell me what the world wants you to do or react to me in some way that ain't holy, to which I can't really reach you or something. You've done the work to make sure that your spirit's in the right place. You've welcomed me into your head, into your heart to help guide you. Now I'm telling you what to do, and it's time for you to either listen or not. And that's exactly what it was. So I got my butt up, I threw on my jeans, and I walked out the house. And that's exactly what's going on. I don't know where I'm going, I never do. I'm walking down Century Boulevard, I guess, what is it, Century? Toward the El Pollo Loco or something. I don't even know if I want to eat that. I don't think I'm even going to stop there. I'll probably just keep walking. But then the Lord helped me realize that I had more than I thought. He helped me realize that I'm not doing as bad with my legs. He telling me, like, basically my legs were sore and, all that stuff. Lay down. After that little rest, my legs feel better. Just enough rest to get my legs back going, and these last couple of days, he's let me get back into my basketball conversations, you know what I mean? So it's like, the world is going to tell you to do things that you got to do. But you also going to listen to the Lord. He's going to tell you how to approach those things that must be done. If I would have taken the mindset of frustration that it came from that Instacart situation, and I would have looked up and called people and asked for different things that I need, my energy would not have been right, my mind would not have been right, and it wouldn't have been on God's timing, because he told me to do the opposite. And that, my friends, is what I'm here to tell you. I don't care if the world is telling you to do something that it seems you're supposed to do. What the world doesn't know is what's about to happen next. It's a scenario, and I want to send respect to everybody who fits into this imaginary scenario that I'm creating in my head, but I just think that it's relevant, so I'm going to allow the Lord to let me just do this. I'm just going to say it. Maybe there was somebody who knew damn sure they should have went to work on 9/11. You know what I'm saying? Everything in their soul told them not to go. But the world told them they had to be there at 8:30. You understand what I'm saying? We don't know what comes with what. So when the Lord is moving your spirit in the one life you had going forward in time, you got to listen to him in those moments in time. You better step to it. When he tells you to move, you move that away in his timing. Because you don't know what the world is going to throw at you. You don't know what's going to change around you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why you got to first go into the spirit in the way that you best can. Make yourself as holy as whatever you can. And then listen to that voice when it's in your head telling you to move. Don't hesitate when you've done the work on your spirit. When you know you've done the work. You got to trust that inner voice in your head at that point. But when your spirit ain't right and you ain't did the work, and you ain't living right, then that spirit that's in you is going to probably tell you the opposite of what you need. But you got to know when you've done the work, and you got to know when the Lord wants you to do something specific that'll help you. That may not be necessarily in the world. Because I'm telling you right now, that person did not go to work that day. They survived that situation, and they were able to do all the things the Lord wanted them to do with their life. If they would have did what the world told them to do, what they knew they should have did by way of the world, by way of what obviously was on schedule for their life, obviously their responsibilities in life, obviously what they're supposed to be doing, do you know what happens to them? Obedience comes in many forms, friends. Obedience comes in many forms, and it ain't always what the world tell you it is. They tell you got to be at work at 8:30. That building ain't going to be there at 9. You got to stay home. Lord told me to stay in that bed. I told him I was mad about not being able to get my groceries. He said, man, all them apples that you ordered was rotten. All them bananas was rotten. Ain't none of that food going to digest properly. All of it was bad for you. Now, obviously, I don't actually believe that, but that's not the point. Point is, that's the truth as it pertains to it not being meant for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you have to tell yourself when something ain't meant for you. You got to say, this ain't meant for me. Even if it's lined up on schedule, even if it feels like it's right, even if everybody on the earth telling me this is what it's supposed to be, that ain't meant for me. Because the spirit inside of me told me it ain't meant for me. And I'm staying away from it because I know that I don't know what comes with what. But that spirit does. When I'm sitting there praying, he know what's up. So if he wants me to survive the moment, then obviously he's gonna tell me what works for all of the situation, not just what the world is aware of. He's gonna tell me how to survive the situation as it pertains to his energy upon my life, not necessarily what the world is telling me is on schedule for myself. So that's what I tell all of you. Don't put yourself in a position to not be obedient to the Lord when you know for a fact that he wants you to move on his timing. Because his timing is aware. Just like I said, I'm not his future. So I can't tell you the future. But the Spirit of God that's in me may be able to guide me toward being able to tell you how to survive the next 9/11. Or the Spirit of God inside of you might be able to tell me how to survive the next pandemic. Or how to not get on that plane that's not going to make it there. Or how not to get in that car that's going to get stopped by the cops. All of that stuff may be on schedule, but it ain't on timing. All that stuff may be on schedule, but it ain't of God. And so that's what I'm here to tell you. You don't have to walk down those paths that ain't meant for you. You don't have to lie to yourself about how much anger you should have pointed at your own self because of stuff that was never, ever meant for you. Never meant for you. You walk that path because the Lord wanted you to walk that path. It ain't because that path was meant for you. It was just because you stumbled into that path, and now, because of it, he can do good things from within that path. So even if you go down the wrong path, don't necessarily mean that's the path he don't want you on. It just means that you got to be there for a time while he has plans for what you are. And as you continue to move on that path, you will discover what it is that his intentions was. And if he wanted you to perish in the past, then you would have been stuck there, doing what it is that none of them other people got a word for. Ain't none of them other people got the word to say, yo, this is not what we need to be doing right now because it ain't going to work out. No, because the Lord was ready for them to come home. But you, well, he told you to stay right there. And you know he told you to stay right there because you heard him. And did you believe him? That's the question. That'll be the difference between walking in the light and suffering ills that you ain't got no business suffering. Did you believe God when he told you to get up at that exact moment? I did, and that's why I'm walking under this tunnel right now. Don't mean I'm gonna find anything good. It don't mean I'm gonna find anything bad. It just means that I'm on his timing. So wherever the heck this road leads, whether it be this day's road or 17 years from now, because I was obedient in this moment, he's still gonna be able to do what he wants to do with me because I'm on timing. I'm listening to the Spirit inside of me that's guiding me, that's telling me how to preserve my life and my circumstances, and I'm following it. You see what I'm saying? And because of it, I'm going to stumble into something perfect for me. Or I'm going to come up with some type of clarity that comes from just being obedient in the moment. Or I'll just stumble into nothingness and be okay with that because that's all that we wanted me to do. Is just get out the house and go some places that maybe I wasn't looking to go. Finding some people that maybe I wasn't looking to meet. Under circumstances that would never been present to me if not for the obedience of Christ in my life to do so. And look, this is not one of those religious things. Y'all know how I feel about this. If you don't, let me tell you. Islam is welcome here. I pray in the same way you do. I get on my knees, I stretch my arms out in the name of the Lord. Buddhists, I love you. I got friendships in that. The Lord has already told me there's good love there. Jewish people, Christ was supposedly a Jew. Why would I be against him? There's nobody in any walk of faith that love cannot touch. There's nobody on this earth that's walking around that may not eventually share a great-great-grandbaby with me. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you accept me or not. People are going to be stuck on the same earth, and because of it, we're eventually going to measure one another. We're going to merge, whether we like it or not, whether we okay with it or not. And so that's why I understand ain't nobody getting excluded from this. I do what I do in Christ's name because I know he exists. And because I know he exists, he told me to let everybody in, not just the Christians. Because it ain't only the Christians I'm going to be related to tomorrow. My great-grandbaby may be a Muslim. You think I don't want to see him succeed in his faith? That's not how I'm wired. You think I'm going to turn my grandson away if he shows up in a time machine saying, I believe in something that you don't, Grandpa, but I need somewhere to go? Not with what I'm going through in this current moment. I'm going to let him in. Then I'm going to ask him to teach me what he knows. I ain't going to turn him away because he don't agree with what I agree with, I need something new. Hell, even what I agree with only got me so far. I need more from you. And he ain't never gonna exist if I'm shunning every single body that come my way because they don't pray like me, don't think like me, don't think how I think, don't feel what. Ain't none of that. None of that. Gonna keep it from being fact that I am his great-grandfather. None of that. And I'm not one of those people that hate people for no reason because of that. Because I don't know who I'm related to. I don't know who's gonna be friends with my best friends. Who knows? Even if it ain't got nothing to do with my own kin. I got people I love, you dig? I got people I love. There is no way in hell that I want them to have problems because of what it is that I don't welcome in my life in the form of goodness that would welcome me. I think about friends' kids and stuff. What if it ain't got nothing to do with my bloodline, but it's just somebody's friends' kids? I got people that I love. I'm godfather to somebody. What if they marry somebody outside of a group I don't agree with? Now I gotta be on the other side of them? Is that what I want? Is that gonna welcome me to happiness that ultimately comes my way with my loved ones? Because I can't get over my own mind. It's to say people who think like me can be okay. They can eat where I eat. They can sit where I sit. You gotta overcome your own head, man. And you can't let people who don't know how to overcome their own head tell you that there's no merit to your compassion, friends. You can't let them do that to you because they don't see the angles. They don't know why they should care. They don't know that they're gonna be related to that person 27 years from now. They don't know. How do they know? Those are things you fall into, and then you wake up like, oh my God, yeah, that person is good. Oh my God, they're not that bad. But if you follow in the spirit, you're gonna know that beforehand. If you're living like you're supposed to, you're gonna know that ahead of time. You're never gonna let yourself fall into a position to feel like you're better than somebody. You're not better than anybody. Everybody's struggling with something. You don't know where they're gonna be tomorrow. You don't know where you're gonna be tomorrow. This is why you display your compassion today. Let the Lord move you today. So that's what I'm here to say in this moment. Let him move you like he moved me. But understand that the work has to be put in first, or that voice. It won't be of God, it'll be of your mindset. It'll be of your fears. See, that's the point. You got to do the work. Because that inner voice, it's going to sound the same way if it's evil too. It's going to sound the exact same way. That's why you know you did the work. If you ever wonder why monks walk around holy, I figured it out. I understand exactly why they do it. They walk around, they don't never have certain things come into their circumference. They don't let, I get it more than I ever have. It is exactly this. Exactly this. Because that inner voice that tells you to go left or right, if you're engaging in the wrong stuff, it's going to be something that tells you the wrong way. If you're engaging in the right stuff, it's going to be so clear to you what you need to do, what you don't need to do, who you need to welcome into your life, who you don't, how to forgive if necessary, how to not, whatever the case. You're going to know those things because you're going to be in the spirit. You're not going to allow yourself to believe that you have it all under control without actually doing the work. You're never going to go into that space to say, God don't need me to be present in holiness in order for him to reach me and get me where I need to go. You're going to tell yourself to go to work at 8:30 and it's going to be that. If you're following what it is we've been talking about. You're going to go there and it ain't going to go right. And so let me be the person that just says that all of what it is that you've been through, it led you to hearing what it is I'm saying right now, which means that I think the voice that's in my head telling me to lay down for a certain amount of time and get up meant for you to hear exactly what I'm saying at this exact moment. Because if I didn't obey it, I wouldn't have said it. And if I wouldn't have said it, you wouldn't have got it from me. And so that's what being obedient is about. The Lord didn't let me know what his plan was, but he knew that this content was going to be created, and he knew that it would not have been created in this way unless I did the exact same way that he told me to do it. Gave me a whole 20-minute conversation, more or less, off of just laying down. And that's what I come to understand my purpose is. It don't take much for me to come up with nothing that can help. It don't take nothing for me to come up with solutions in the NBA. It's nothing for me to do the things I'm good at, making playlists. All of that stuff comes easy to me. Wordplay, writing poems, all of that stuff comes very easy to me. But simple tasks like dealing with stress, I need God for that. Dealing with my head, Need God for that. Dealing with all these different energies that I don't understand. Need God for that. Dealing with my own frustration and anger when things don't fall into place, even though I just got through telling y'all for a whole hour how to handle it. I couldn't apply it at that moment. I needed God to help me with that. You understand what I'm saying? There's purpose to everything I'm saying, and that purpose is whatever He wants it to be. But the point is, you will have an understanding in your head that there's another variable in going with what the world tells you to do, so long as you're doing the work spiritually to make sure that you are taking care of who it is you need to be. You take care of the business that you need to take care of spiritually. You pray your prayers. You get your mind right. You let your compassion lead you. You stay away from lustful energy that ain't of your family structure. I was talking to God about that one because I've been talking to y'all about that one. I'm tired of being alone in that way. I'm used to being lustful on my own. It ain't working for me no more because it pulls me away from that space of mind that allows me to hear clearly when this voice is trying to tell me to do something else. It allows me not to be confused about which voice is which, but in the meantime, I still got needs. I'm a man, you feel me? And so it just gets to a point where you try to figure out how best to go about it. And you know what you come up with? You want that voice to be clear in your head, don't you? Got to keep it holy. Let the Lord lead you toward the path that's going to lead you to your partner so you don't have to be unholy in these circumstances. If you don't already have that partner, you're single like me. You're in a space where you don't have nobody, ain't nothing coming around your way. This is what the holiness will coerce you toward, a healthier way to handle this. While not angering God, not putting you in a position to procreate with people ain't got no business procreating with. Catching all kinds of diseases that ain't meant for your body. That's how it happens. Because you don't necessarily go to God in those circumstances. You go to yourself, you be like, yeah, I'm gonna handle it myself. Okay, I handle it myself and it goes wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of it's a man's need. God, I just gotta go to this because it's a man's need. Okay, then you ain't gonna hear the voice. He ain't gonna tell you, you're gonna go to work at 8:30. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's why they holy. That's why you got to ask the Lord for what it is that's best for you in these situations. I don't want to tell God what I need. I want Him to make it so that I don't need it no more. I don't want to tell God I'm struggling. I want Him to make it so that the struggle ain't a struggle. That I'm stronger, so that the struggle just feels like a task. You see what I'm saying? We always try to figure out how to work with our parameters. No different than trying to make it even with God. Or if I do this, He'll do that. No. Or I got to give so much, so I ain't going to God because if I don't give enough, He ain't going to give me enough. No. That's the source of all things. So there's no even, there's no balance. There's no checks and balance. No, you got to do so, therefore I give. No. You give Him a mustard seed, He'll give you your entire life. That's what I always tell y'all. Just tell Him, hey, yo, God, what we doing? Where we going? What is this? What's next? That's all it takes. You ain't got to be in the spirit like me to the degree that I find myself being today. Just like I ain't got to be a monk. There's levels. And those levels are fit for the time you're supposed to be alive. So you don't worry about if you're meeting that level because God ain't going to ask you to keep a balance. He ain't going to ask you got to make sure it's heavy. It's not a scale. He can take care of all that with His math. He don't need no scale. You can give a little, He can make it even. You can give a lot, He'll make it even. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like a lot of us worry a lot about these type of things. Like, God, how am I going to make it right with you if I don't have enough to give? I ain't did enough good deeds to make it right. Man will tell you it's a scale with God. There ain't no scale with God. I lived bad all life long. The last minute He told me, just say a quick prayer and we'll work something out. Just like I was telling y'all yesterday. Because with that quick prayer, He can make up for all of your bad deeds. Because this ain't a scale. All He needs is a mustard seed. He can work with that. It don't matter that you wasted all your time when you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better. What, you think He can't do nothing with that? He's the source of all things. He can do anything with that. You didn't get it right first 70 years of your life? Okay. Spend the next 10 making it right, bro. And I promise you, He'll make that 10 make up for all them damn 70. Every single one of them. You ain't got to believe me. Just try it. You'll see when you get there. He'll take care of it. So I tell people, ain't no such thing as no redemption, because that's a scale that's measured by man. Man ain't even in the equation. That's not even His business. That's what people, I want everybody to understand. That ain't even man's business. We be sitting up here trying to be judges of each other. That's not even our business. It's God's business. And so that's what I have to say to y'all. It's God's business. Don't worry about trying to do His job for Him. He'll do it. Don't worry about trying to keep checks and balances on everything. He'll do it. Don't worry about not being a friend to somebody. He'll make sure you're that friend. Just be a friend to him. Don't worry about not getting where you're trying to go. You'll get there. Just stick with him. He'll tell you exactly how to align yourself to be in the space you need to be to get on the right course and the path you need to be on. He told me to lay down. I know dang well I don't need to be laying down. He told me to stay in the house and wait for Moaz. I knew damn well that sitting in the house was a pattern of mine that was no good. But he had a million different things he wanted me to do in that house, including feel better within the comfort zone that I had yet to break out of. And he was going to help me heal, and he was going to help me turn into an artist, and he was going to help me turn into a playlist curator, he was going to help me turn into a YouTuber in several different ways. And he was going to help me get to this point where I'm walking every day. Look at me, I'm walking like I'm walking to work. I'm halfway to where I used to work at. I would never have walked this far. I ain't walked this far on a regular basis since I was 13 years old. But he put me in a position to want that, to want it. Forget, oh, I gotta drudge and do it. Let's turn it into a habit. No, I was like, man, smell that air? That's what I want. That's just what I would prefer at this point. And it took 7 days, 7 smooth days. From the time they told me you got to get the hell out of there in 10 days till right now, I have turned myself into someone who had to be in the house to somebody who's prefer to just get up and walk for miles. Not because I have to, just because I'm on timing with him, so that I have to, I want it too. Same time, it works. But I don't find that without God. I don't find that without being obedient to his timing. I don't even say any of this if I do what it is that my mind was telling me to do, which seemed responsible to me. Which may be responsible for you if you do it. But for what it is he told me to do, it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna have the result that I needed. It wasn't gonna bring me what it was best for BDF. Truth be told, even if this don't lead to what it is that he said it would per se, it will still eventually come to pass that way. Because what I'm saying is, if it don't happen, what he is saying to me in return to if it don't happen is, if it ain't happened yet. That's what that comes down to. If it hasn't happened yet. Just like we sitting up here talking about waiting on Moaz. It ain't happened yet. Now the hedges on the other side want me to think it ain't gonna happen at all. But when you have faith and you're in the spirit with the Lord, you already know he's telling you to walk. He ain't telling you to go to work at 8:30. The hedges are telling me to go to work at 8:30. God is telling me to lay down until about 11:30 and get up at that time. And at that time, he'll lead me to exactly where he wants me to go. So you see what I'm saying? I'm not listening to the world. The world didn't tell me to get in that play. The world didn't tell me to hold them shares. God did. In his own way. And that's what I'm here to tell everybody. This ain't one of them situations where you got to wonder about whether or not the Lord is telling you to do something unorthodox. If you've done the work, and the question for him placed upon you is to be obedient, then ain't nothing unorthodox about it. Because he knew 9/11 was coming. He knew the pandemic was coming. He knew such and such and such and such. That's what I always have to remind myself and all of us. He knew. It was something that came to mind while I was in bed, sitting there, praying, resting. He had me flash back to random moments in my life that had no real significance. For example, one random day when I was like 8 years old at this place called Children's Club, where I remember that we were about 5 minutes away from going to the pool. All the kids were super excited about going to the pool, and that created a certain level of urgency in me because I knew I'm going out in the pool, so I never forgot it. He told me he knew who was out there while I was in the room waiting for my turn to go in the pool. God told me he had a head count of every child in the pool that needed to get out the pool for us to get in the pool that day. He had me reflect on that lady that I told you whose energy was in my apartment, this lady we used to call Grandma. He had me reflect on when I went to her house one time with my mom. He told me he knew who was in the other room next door. Had nothing to do with me, but he had their problems in his heart. People that we never saw. Neighbors of hers that never actually crossed my path. He said, yeah, there was some people across the way there I knew them. People downstairs, I knew them. When y'all went to such and such place with your mom, all the employees there, I know them. Still in touch with their kids right now. This is what he's telling me. So while you don't want to listen to the Spirit, you got to be aware of what the Spirit is. All-encompassing information and understanding. Full head count of everybody. And all of their problems. And all the solutions that come with their problems. And everything that's going to happen after they finish getting through their issues. You got a head count of all of it. And it just stuff like that just kept flashing in my head. You remember when you used to go to somebody's house? Yeah, I knew their neighbors too. Yeah, they was praying to me about such and such. Whatever it is, I ain't gonna tell me. He ain't gonna tell me. But the point is, he had all of these things under control throughout the course of my timeline. Things that had nothing to do with me, he was present for. Things that had nothing to do with my mind or my life, never crossed my path. He just wanted me to know that he was in the other room and in the room with us at the same time. So when you don't want to listen to that voice, you're saying no to something that understands all of that, knows all of that, has all of that memorized, back and front. You need to think about it. Think about the people who live upstairs from you. Maybe you don't know them at all. God doesn't. He knows them. Not only does he know them, but he hear their prayers. He listens to what they're talking about. He know they family members, the secrets that they don't know about. It goes on to forever, bro. It goes on forever, sis. Everybody in the Marriott over there, there's a Marriott behind me. You know all of them. You know where they're trying to go, what they need to be. Everybody over there, American Airlines Cargo, probably got all of them their job. You know what I'm saying? Anybody employed over there, he got all of them their job. People need to get the hell out of there. He got them away from there. You got to understand the all-encompassing understanding of the Most High, man. So when we tell them we ain't going to do this and we ain't going to do that, we got to understand who we telling who, what. You want to tell them your problems? After what I just said, you still want to have to express to him what you need? And that's the point. That's exactly what came to me while I was laying there. He was like, you don't have to tell me anything about what you need. You don't have to tell me anything about you going through. I already know. I know what they're going through. I know what you're going through. I know what the people who you are going to do whatever for is going through now. I'm going to lead you toward them so you can help them. And that's what this timing is about. It's like all-encompassing. No stone unturned. That kind of understanding. So when he tells me to get up, it's the time to move. When he tells me to lay down, it's not being lazy. Because it's all about his timing, so long as I'm doing the work. And that's what I'm here to tell y'all, man. Do the work. Don't lean on your own understanding without checking in with that all-encompassing understanding energy that's above you. All he asks is that you give what you got. If you can get holy, become holy. If you're stuck where I was 2 years ago, then pray for others. Pray for others. Put yourself in a position to have a list of people that you pray for daily. That's what kind of got me to a space where I can do this and talk like this and feel this way. It was that he was present in my heart that day and made it so. And so that's what I want to tell all of y'all, man. I think I'm about ready to turn back around and give me something to eat. I done came all the way down to Century and Airport. That ain't close. That's about, I don't know how many blocks, but it's a lot of them. But that's just the point, y'all. I just wanted, beyond the shadow of a doubt, to tell everybody what I'm thinking, because faith is what I'm running on, and he's giving me so much to think about, so much to share with y'all, so much to worry about in regards to making sure I stay on point with his spirit. Not necessarily worried about in regards to my problems, but just making sure I'm checking all of the different boxes to make sure that my spirit's in the right place, I'm thinking the right things, and I'm not moving the wrong ways, I'm not stepping on nobody, so that he can keep that voice in my head telling me exactly how to move when I need to move at that exact moment. So that I can give you what I'm supposed to give you, so I'm about to take from whatever that's going to help me. All those things to be aligned. I just got to make sure that I clear my mind. And so that's what I'm here to tell y'all. I'm trying to clear my mind. And I'm trying to let the Lord in. Clear it of all the clutter that should not be there in regards to any dang thing, whatever it is. Shoot, limited to nothing. Anything that's not supposed to be there that would otherwise snuff out my voice, his voice in my head, that would allow him to block out those negative thoughts and insert the timing and the instructions from which to find what I need. I think it's worth it. You know, as people say, this is chess, not checkers. You got to apply what works, don't you? And remember, this is a life going forward in time. It don't go backwards. So whatever you do, it's going to have a remnant. It's going to have reverberations across time going forward. And so that's why the timing is so important. That's why keeping holy is so important, if at all possible. And if you can't do it, like I said, just do what you can, man. This ain't no scale. This ain't no measuring stick amongst men. Who got the holiest? Who can suffer the worst? Ain't nobody. Nah, bro. Nah. That ain't what this is at all. So that's what I want people to understand. I just think religion, as beautiful as it is, it's just a lot of human people, humans, human thoughts, human concerns, 830 type of thinking that's enriched in all these religions. And people ain't moving with the spirit in a good portion of the time. They're not moving in compassion a good portion of the time. They're moving in the world, reacting to the world, and the enemy is all in through their stuff. Tempted by the world, tempted by power, tempted by just fear. Literal fear of being afraid of being irrelevant as a group, being afraid of being wiped off the map by their enemies. Enemies they likely created with energy that didn't even mean them any good. Likely they created with energy. So that's what I want to tell you guys, man. Don't run from your religion. If it's serving you positively, then obviously it led you on a path to listen to these words. If you stayed this long, then you obviously believe in something I believe. So it ain't about telling you to turn away. That ain't what I've been saying for the last 36 minutes. I just want y'all to understand that there's a way to read energy. And if a human being believes that their sins or what it is that they do that snuffs out that voice ain't actually a deterrent to that voice, then they're going to move in that voice, and it's not going to be the God that you believe in. You're going to follow them, and they're going to lead you off a cliff. That's why you got to follow both the compassion and the spirit. The spirit will help you read compassion. But if you don't have no use for compassion, chances are that's not the spirit that I'm talking about. It may be a demon or something. And look, maybe a demon will have you walk in the right path for a couple steps just so you can do damage on the right path. Don't be oblivious to that. He gonna tell you everything good. Hey, he gonna bring you toward God sometimes. He know the Bible more than you do. But the only reason why he wants you to go down that path is because he put his seed on you. He put his seed in you. That idea that ain't no good, he's going to take that down the path of righteousness to taint the waters. And we've seen it too many times in too many different variables. And what is that example supposed to do? Keep people from religion, keep people from God, keep people from believing, keep people from listening to the spirit, keep people at work at 8:30, so to speak. That's all it do. So don't be fooled by bad energy. You got to read that energy properly. And it ain't as simple as somebody wearing a cross around their neck. It ain't that simple. Because I can tell you right now, it comes in ebbs and flows for a human being. You could have met me in certain times in my life when I wasn't any good. And you know what came out of my mouth? The opposite of this, and I'd have believed it too. Because I need to get to this point to believe what I'm saying. I had to go through this to get there. So it could be a good man that gives you good energy. He could be in the wrong timing in his life. He could be listening to the wrong spirit and not know it. It could be a really good man too. But he been living in such darkness in outside of what it is that you're aware of. And that darkness may be so deep embedded in his spirit that he's completely oblivious to all of this. And truly believes he's going to lead you down the right path and will desperately be sad when he finds out that he didn't. And the enemy will be rubbing his hands like Birdman, laughing the whole way through. Read the energy properly. If it ain't with compassion, it ain't with you. Because we're trying to build. We're trying to move forward in life. We don't want to get stuck in the present. You don't want to be the spirit that's stuck in the present. That's deep, because I don't know nothing about that. But I'm saying, like, sometimes I just feel like sometimes people they pass away. I just be wondering if their spirit even get to go anywhere, man. They just be stuck in the present forever. Still wearing the same clothes, in spirit form, still saying the same slang 30, 40, 50 years later. Don't let it happen to you walking in the wrong spirit to get trapped. You find yourself trapped in the present. To relive your own madness over and over again, never to heal, never to evolve, never to help nobody, never to be needed by nobody. To heck with that existence. That ain't for nobody. When you think about how much it costs to be holy, what it costs to get your spirit right, what it costs to take a step toward God, you really want to pay the toll the other way? I don't think so. I'm certain you don't. I feel like everything that I've said here may have to be played back to me so that I get it in another moment where I'm not in the spirit. Maybe I do find something, some way that kicks me off road. Maybe I need you to remind me of what it is I've forgotten if I fall off path. It's been many a man that had the right spirit at a certain time and lost it and never got it back. Many a man who gave you the right advice but couldn't follow it themselves. Do not be fooled. Sometimes the messenger's only meant to be the messenger. And the idea of hypocrisy is supposed to make you forget the message. It ain't about whether he followed it or not. It's about whether you follow it or not. It ain't about whether they're willing to walk in the path they're supposed to walk. You're going to watch them not, and then you're going to see what happens when they don't. They told you, they did that, and they encompassed the example themselves. That was their purpose. It wasn't for you to shun the wisdom. It was for you to see it in its full form. And the world will teach you otherwise to keep you from learning lessons. He's a hypocrite. Don't listen to him. Why not? He's a perfect example of what it is he's talking about. He's the very person to be listening to. Just because he falls short, that's his purpose. He's supposed to fall short. There he is. Example. Don't let the wisdom leave you because the messenger ain't no good. Because I could be a messenger that ain't no good at the end of the day. I got my own problems. Well, you see, I ain't got it all together. There gonna be a lot of people who don't listen to me because I don't have any money. And they were raised to think that way, and maybe they got good reasons that I don't have it in my head. I don't know what to tell them. I don't have their wisdom. I don't know. But what I can say is I'm speaking to all of y'all, and even if I'm not the right messenger, it don't mean that what I'm saying to you ain't gonna save somebody's life. Ain't gonna keep them off a situation that might hurt, make them worse. Just because I can't seem to get it right. Just because I don't actually believe what I'm saying, if that's what it is. Nah, that don't matter. It don't matter. I'm gonna take you back to something I just said about 20 minutes ago. Maybe not that long ago. Who knows how long it's been? Probably about 7 minutes. But I said that enemy knows the Bible better than you do. So when the enemy recites the Bible, he's still reciting the Bible. The messenger's trash. But if he wants to be a folly, laughter idiot and recite to me the word is still the word, no matter what mouth come out of. No different than the hypocrite that speaks on what shouldn't be done and it shows me he shouldn't be doing it. Same exact scenario. That's exactly what it is. The enemy embarrassing itself purposefully, because that's what the enemy does. It tortures itself and others. That's exactly what it does. It will leave itself in disgrace every time. None the wiser, always mad at everybody else but itself. I'm telling you, I know how the enemy works. I've been susceptible to the enemy's ways, had myself caught down by the enemy's nonsense, all that. I done been there, man. You don't have to stay that way. You don't never have to stay that way. That enemy is got one purpose only, to make sure that everybody suffers forevermore. Any person lost is a deterrent to its plan and what it wants. Any one soul that doesn't fall in line makes its entire purpose a failure, because that's how hell-bent it is on taking everything from God. You got to understand that. Everything. So that's why I want everybody to know it's a war on your soul. They want your soul, man. They want you to think that you can't condition yourself for what's necessary. They want you to think you got to turn into a demon in order to be able to find comfort or peace or some type of strength. That's not how it works. It's not at all how that works. You got to put yourself in a position to live better for your Most High, for yourself, for your family, for the future possibilities of such. There are a lot of things that can happen. But if you don't have your spirit on right and your head on straight and all of those different things, a lot of wrong can come from just your point of view within those circumstances that happen. A lot of things can go left because of your position on what happens. And the enemy can do a lot with that sadness. He can do a lot with that regret. And most importantly, he can tell you how not to regret. The Lord can tell you how not to regret things just the same. It may not be necessarily working out. Okay, that's fine. You'll get better. Take a couple seconds, breathe. Say a prayer for somebody else. Think about the people going through what you're going through. That always helps for me. Pray for people going through what you're going through. Even if it's the most embarrassing thing, if it's the worst thing, you did something you ain't supposed to do, now you're ashamed, you didn't caught the worst of things, you laying down in a bad space, whatever it is. You now are in a position to fathom someone who's in your position, and you now are in a position to pray for them because of it. That's how you defeat the enemy from your position. Even if you don't have a leg to stand on or a dollar to give, you got a prayer in your head. And that's enough damage to do to him, because remember, all he wants to do is take everything. Anything left, including you, is a failure. And with you left, remember, this ain't a scale. All he needs is one soul to gather everybody else. All he needs is one soul to take back everything Satan took from him. Remember that. Satan has to take everything. God only needs one soul to take back everything else. Think about what it takes in regards to that story about Noah's Ark. Wipe the world clean. Give me 2 of everything and just a couple men. That's it. A man and one woman. That's all he needs to reset the whole thing. Satan can't do that. Satan can't do that. He needs everything or nothing. And he's going to lose, because you can't take everything from God, because there's one thing you're going to have to leave behind, Satan. God himself. That's the one you can't have. And because of you already failed. He created all man. So if he gets wiped, if you take all of his man away, guess what he can do? Reset. Start your fight all over again. You thought you won? Reset. Start the game over. Never win, Satan. Never chance. You have a leg to stand on or a dollar to give, Satan. And that's the point. So I want people to understand that, man. You ain't lost. I don't care how many years you gave to the enemy. You can only lose if you have no interest at all in redemption. Don't let the world tell you can't be forgiven. Don't let the electric chair tell you that that's the end. If you gave yourself to God, there's still more to do, friend, on the other side. That's what I'm here to tell y'all. Some of y'all did awful things. Some of y'all about to do awful things. Ain't gonna listen to nothing, whatever. I'm telling you, on the end of that, there may be some redemption for you. There may be something you can offer to keep it from being as bad as it ultimately can become for you afterward. I tell people that because I've had situations where I needed to be forgiven. I had situations where I thought, you know what, I'm not going to go to heaven. It's not going to happen. A couple of times. I knew what I did wasn't good. But what I didn't see, and what he also helped me understand, is I see all of what you're going to do, including this conversation right here. I don't think God wants to throw this version of me in hell. Maybe I have to pay for some sins, but I don't think he wants me down there sweating it out. Not when I'm living like this, not when I'm thinking like this. But when I'm thinking like a person that ain't got no business thinking that way, you best believe he ain't happy with me. But that doesn't encompass my entire life. That doesn't encompass my entire purpose. That don't encompass what the future holds for my voice. That's why I don't have no problem praying for people that might be walking in darkness. That's why I don't mind praying for people that might be walking in sin, or might have did some things that God ain't gonna really want to see them do, or whatever, how far it go. I don't mind praying for those people. I may not have the heart and the temperament to pray for everybody, because some people might have did me wrong. I might not be there yet, whatever. But certain individuals, it's like you don't know where he's taking them. You don't know where his plan is for them later. Right now, it may not look that good. Right now, it may seem like, they're not really. That may be the thing now, but later is what he sees. Just like he told me he knew the neighbors next door, such and such. He knew the people in the pool, to such and such. He knows it, the whole thing. So if for some reason you're living holy now and you're going to end up being an enemy later, that's also taken into account. If you ultimately are just not going to have it like that in the end and become the worst person in the world, but you're living as a preacher right now, all that's taken into account. No different. So that's what I'm here to say, man. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to try to get it right with whatever it is you have to give. You may not have 100 hours to give the Lord in prayer. Maybe that's not how your mind works. Maybe you just don't feel it like that. It's okay. He made everybody different. Because at the end of the day, maybe because of how much spirit you have, you'll be able to connect with somebody who will be pushed away by mine. That's what the Lord is telling me to say. He wants me to reiterate that. You ain't got to be super holy guy. Yeah, you're not. You have the requisite amount of faith that he wants you to have. You have the requisite amount of love in your heart that he put in you to be able to connect with the people you're supposed to love. Sometimes some people's spirit's too strong for some people. They're going to be turned off by all this. It's too much. Maybe they just need a little something and walk away. That's where you come in. I can't be that. But God created you for that. This brings me back to the religion conversation. I love Muslim people. Why? Because they're from a different place, different scale, different circumstances, different beliefs. But because we're fighting the same enemy, and because we love a one true God, we know it's the same one. If you only pray to one God, I only pray to one God, guess who we're praying to? Same guy. Because we both know it's only one. This is math, friends. So that's why I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of love in my heart for different religions and different people that believe in what I believe in, or who believe in love. Because love is to God, too. You disarm the enemy in every way. Maybe you ain't never heard of Christ. Okay, you got love? Sure, you got him. You love something? Sure, you got him. That's what the world ain't gonna tell you. Because the world is of the world. 8:30. On time, regardless of what the future holds, regardless of what the variables may be, 8:30, you gotta be there. You don't. Spirit's telling you to survive, friend. Last thing your ass wanna be here is 8:30. Feel me? So that's what I'm here to say, man. Forgive my language. I just get a little comfortable here, but it is what it is. The Lord put it in my heart to tell you. And you follow him in the way that he wants you to follow, I promise you're going to be fine no matter what the world is telling you the schedule is. No matter what your mind is telling you need to do right now, no matter what your parents and family, whomever, sister, wife, everybody, they going to tell you what the world needs to tell you. You got to be like this. You got to be worried like this. Yeah, I ain't got to be none of that because I don't know what comes with what. I do know if my energy's bad, ain't nothing good coming, though. I know that. I do know if I'm distracted, the Lord ain't going to be able to do nothing with me. I know that. I do know if I run around here like a crazy person, people gonna react to that. I know that. If I walk around deranged and suddenly it's a situation where I need to be on top of things because now I gotta be a hero, I ain't gonna be equipped to be no hero. What if a kid go running in the street? I'm sitting up here worried about my problems. I need to dart in the street and risk my life to save that child. That's my purpose in life. I'm gonna miss it. Something goes bad, and here I am even worse off for it. But my energy would have been right. If I would have followed God like he told me to do, I'd have never not been on point in that moment. That's what you're guarding against. You want to be on point in those moments. You got to have your energy right so he can have you keen on what it is that your responsibilities are, regardless of what the world is telling you. Regardless of what the enemy wants to put in your mind. When it pops up, when that moment pops up, when your life is defined in that moment, you're going to be ready for it because you always knew that the Spirit would guide you so long as you stayed on point. So long as you loved yourself enough to check and see if everything is all right, if what I'm doing is all right. As long as I love myself enough to say, Lord, I'm a little frustrated right now, but can you show me how not to be? He'll make it so that while I'm thinking that, he'll be aligning me with my best logic, my best instincts, my best point of view from which to align myself with his purpose upon that life of mine. That's what I'm here to say to you. You're not in your battle alone. I'm looking over here and I'm seeing people who are going to be hopefully getting out of these circumstances very soon, man. You know, I'm walking past homeless encampments. I believe the Lord is going to get these people out of these situations, you know. I believe if they're comfortable in those situations, they're going to have everything they need even if they're there. That's what I believe. They're going to have more than what they need. They're going to be able to smile on holidays, smile on every day because they're going to have what they need somehow. And I walk past that, I think maybe I can be in there. And because I believe that I could be in there someday, possibly because of my circumstances, I have to believe that. I have to believe that. Not to say that I'm going to never let my mind get that bad, but if for some reason it did, if for some reason 20 years from now I'm still on the streets and never works out, with this mental illness, I have to believe it's going to be fine for them people in there. I have to believe somebody's going to get them out of there. So I might be in there myself. Like, that's what I'm going through as I'm telling you this. And you think I'm too afraid to say these things? Can't be, because they need to be said. Like, who cares what happened to me? That's the reality of it. I care about what happens to me, no doubt. Don't get it twisted. But in the grand scheme of things, who cares what happened to Job? Just that we got the example necessary. Who cares? Let it be. Because you're going to get everything back that you lost. You're going to feel better about everything that ain't going right. You're going to live through your situation. Or he will relieve you of that. If it's too much for you, he'll relieve you of that. He'll show mercy to you. You may find yourself in a situation where you're just suffering, man. I remember my mom was suffering with cancer. Just suffering, man. It wasn't nothing to it. Other than that, it wasn't nothing to learn anymore. It wasn't no recovery process coming. It was just agony. And he got her through it. He took her home and he ended her pain. And now she gets to watch over her son. She gets to do all the different things that the Lord has for her in paradise if she earned her way there. I believe she did. She raised me. I think that was good enough. But who knows what the Lord, I don't know. I don't know. I'm responsible for my own soul, man. That's the point. I'm responsible for me. And because I'm on my path going forward on my walk, the Lord tell me to lay down. Damn it, that's what I need to do. And he tell me to get up. Damn it, that's what we do. And on that, what does that say? Trust Jesus. So, I'm a Jesus guy, but I don't push Jesus. Because I think that pushes people away from Jesus. I don't do that. I always tell you, if you don't know him, all he gonna do is shake your hand when he meets you. This ain't one of them situations where he gonna tell you to bow down on you, none of that. He gonna be the nicest guy. He gonna wash your feet. He gonna give you something to eat. He gonna see how your family doing. He gonna tell you what you need to know because he know every dang thing. And you're gonna love him as a person, as a human. You're gonna love him. This ain't about worshiping nothing. This is about a friend coming to see you when you need a friend the most. He'll be right there. I promise. He's done it for me every time. That's why he told me not to turn away my Muslim brothers, because he love y'all the same. He don't love me more than he love y'all. I promise he don't. He never did. He never did. And he didn't ask that you worship him differently. He told you to follow what you're supposed to follow. Rather than that, he maybe not have told you nothing at all. He told me to tell you. Because I'm the one that's on his team. But let me tell you, just because you may not necessarily be on his team, you're still under his God, his Father. And that Father of his loves you, and his name is God, his name is Allah, his name is all of those things, encompassing the best, Jehovah, all of it. He's all of it. He's all of it. I think I mentioned once before, Summer Walker and her spiritualist, the stuff that she's doing, spirituality and all of that. Summer's on my prayer list. She's covered by Christ by way of me. Even if she's dabbling in the wrong stuff, I got her prayed up. Like I'm my ancestor or something. Dirk, same thing. Young boy, same thing. Both sides. Pray for them both. Gives me strength doing so. Y'all don't even know who all on that list I've been telling y'all about. It's over 110 names at this point. I just add Rod Waves to that list 2 days ago for no other reason than I heard him say something about God in a song. I was like, yep, I ain't added nobody to the list in about 4 or 5 months. Rod, you on there. Praying for you every day from here on out, brother. Kid you not. Not even the biggest fan of his music. Doesn't matter. Because I know that's where I get my confidence to listen to that spirit and know that it's telling me the right thing. The more people I pray for, the closer I can get to what the version of holiness that I can actually attain. The one that I can actually obtain. Not your version. I can't do what you do. You better than that than I am. But I can tell you this. Because I believe in the Lord, he will let me understand how to believe in myself, that allow me to understand how to let people believe in what they believe in and how to connect with them just the same. And someday, when both of our DNAs encompass one human being, we'll know that holds greater purpose than we understood in the moment. When both our DNA, when we see our features, my enemy features and my features in the same human being, you'll understand exactly why we did all of this. I think I'm gonna turn around and get something to eat because I know I'm hungry and I know I should walk away from this place without getting something to eat. I just walked past it because I was just moving. But truth be told, I'm starving. I'm probably gonna get some more El Pollo Loco because it was really good. And quite honestly, I don't feel like walking all the way somewhere else to get something else. It's not quite that serious to me right now. But I'm telling y'all, man, sure as my name is BDF, the only reason why I'm even in this space is because of the desperation of my circumstances. The only reason why I'm even thinking like this is because the Lord put it in my heart to say, you know what? Even though times are hard, I'm going to make you tougher than those times, and we're going to make more good out of those times than anything you've ever seen. So that's just what I want to tell you. I think I'll go to Panda Express today, do something different. But yeah, that's all I got to say, man. My name is BDF44. Thank you all for watching.